friends, and welcome to Kids Church Online with One Church TO. I'm Pastor Stephanie, and this month in October, we are learning all about self-control, choosing to do what's right even when you don't want to. And this Bible story really explains self-control to a T. I'm telling you, this Bible story, when I first read this, I was like, what? What? But as I've continued to read it and as I've continued to grow up, I'm really understanding how God used this person to show us about self-control. Through his life, through his actions, I have learned so much about self-control and choosing to do what's right, even when sometimes I don't want to do that. I'm talking about David and Saul. And if you know the story, you might know what I'm talking about. But David and Saul were in a rival. Saul was king, but David was told by God in a dream that he was going to be king. And Saul knew that and was hunting David down. He was not having it. He wanted David gone. Now, here's the thing. The script flipped a bit, and David found himself with Saul in a position where he could actually kill Saul and become king. But what David did next is catastrophic, and it really helped me understand self-control. And I can't tell you all of it because we gotta watch the Bible story. Before we watch the Bible story though, let's take a look at our memory verse, and we're gonna jump into worship after that. Let's look at our memory verse first. It says this: God's power has given us everything we need to lead a godly life. 2 Peter chapter 1, verse 3. Let's read it again. God's power has given us everything we need to lead a godly life. 2 Peter chapter 1, verse 3. God has given us what we need. And what we need is self-control. And he's given that to us. And he wants us to practice using self-control in our lives. So keep that in mind as we move into our Bible story. Before we look at our Bible story though, let's do worship. Worship looks different depending on who you are. You might like to go for a quiet walk in your neighborhood and just pray. You might like to journal. You might like to listen to music and worship. Whatever worship looks like for you is okay. But the most important thing is that we're doing worship. And worship means giving thanks to God. So if you're not into singing and dancing like we're just about to do, find one way that you can give thanks to God today. So let's jump into that song.
You're the way, the truth, the life. Jesus, show me how to choose what's right. When my feelings just aren't on my side, I know that you help me every time. You are the goodness that lights up my life. I will remember that your way is better. You are the one that still shows me what's right. To believe you are everything I'll ever need. Thank you for your love that makes me free to follow all the plans you have for me. You are the goodness that lights up my life. I will remember that your way is better. You are the one that still shows me what's right. Trust you with my feelings, Jesus, you're my reason. Help me follow you, trust you with my feelings, Jesus, you're my reason. God, help me follow you. You are the goodness that lights up my life. I will remember that your
Awesome friends, I hope in some way you are connecting to the music, whether you are singing or dancing, or whether you are just listening to the lyrics and using it almost like a prayer. Whatever way you are connecting, connect with the song and think of this moment as a moment where we can give thanks to God for all that He has given in our lives. Let's take a look at that Bible story though. The story of David and Saul, and how David had an opportunity to do what he wanted, but chose not to, and really shows us how we can have self-control when God is with us. I'll see you when we get back.
Welcome to Story Lab. This week, we're talking about a guy who had the perfect chance to give a mean guy some serious payback.
Was that an echo?
Hey, I'm Skylar.
And I'm Sanjay.
This month, we're talking about how we can trust God to help us do what's best.
Whoa!
What you got there?
My uncle just visited this incredible cave. It's crazy, just look. Mammoth Cave in Kentucky. It's the longest cave system in the world, with more than 400 miles of passage.
That's farther than driving all the way from Mammoth Cave to Atlanta, Georgia.
And then I clicked on this link here. There's a Sundown Cave in Vietnam. It's the largest cave in the world. It's so big that trees grow inside parts of it.
Cave trees.
Plus, the Waitomo glowworm caves in New Zealand.
So those lights are
Glowworms. Thousands of bright blue glowworms.
pretty impressive. But you should know that I too know a little something about caves.
Really? Care to test it?
Let's play it!
Welcome to You Don't Know a Cave from a Hole in the Ground.
Long name for a game show,
Kind of aggressive too.
right?
First question is to Skylar. What do you call the activity of exploring a cave?
Easy. Spelunking.
That is correct. Next question, Sanjay. Are these formations stalactites or stalagmites?
Well, a stalagmite has a G in it, which reminds us that it grows up from the ground. But a stalactite has a C in it, as in ceiling. That's where they hang from, so stalactite?
That is also correct. Now, it's time for the lighting round.
Don't you mean lightning round? Oh, I get it. Lighting round.
Okay, here we go. Skylar, this flying mammal can often be found sleeping in caves.
Bats.
Correct! Sanjay, what type of rock is often found in caves and can be shaped by water over time?
Granite.
Oh, that's wrong. It's limestone. Back to Skylar. This category of cave-dwelling animal has no eyesight or skin coloring.
Spiders?
Oh, it's wrong. The answer is troglodytes. Okay, Sanjay, the 3 deepest caves are in Georgia, the country, or is it Georgia, the state?
Georgia, the country.
That's correct! And now, for the tiebreaker! A piece of feldspar has been acted upon by hydrothermal alteration and low-pressure metamorphism. What is the pH level of the resulting kaolinite, and why?
That's impossible to answer.
Totally. First of all, we would need to know the hydrolysis reaction of the potassium leaching from feldspat's silicate framework, not to mention the status of the aluminum octahedral sheets interleaved with silicon tetrahedral sheets toward forming that phyllosilicate clay.
Well done!
Good game.
And now it's time for
The story before the story.
Today, we're in the book of 1 Samuel, where we read about a man named Saul, who was the first king of Israel. But Saul didn't follow God. So, God told the prophet Samuel to anoint David as the next king.
When David killed the giant Goliath, Saul welcomed David to the palace to serve him. But as David gained success and popularity, Saul became jealous and tried to kill him.
David escaped into the wilderness with a band of outcasts. David lived on the run from Saul for nearly 10 years.
Which is where our story starts.
Take it away.
Hey everyone, I'm Erica. Even though David had done nothing wrong, Saul refused to give up pursuing him. When Saul heard that David was in the desert of En-Gedi, Saul took 3,000 of his best soldiers and led them on the chase. When this guy has a bad idea, he really commits to it, right? When Saul and his men arrived at a place called the Rocky Cliffs of the Wild Goats, Saul needed, let's call it a rest stop. So he went into a cave for a little privacy. But newsflash! This happened to be the very same cave in which David and his friends were hiding. From the darkness of the cave, David could see Saul, but Saul couldn't see him.
Golden opportunity, bro. He's right there.
Huh? But he's still king!
Hey, didn't God say, I will hand your enemy over to you? Then you can deal with him as you want to.
Oh, I don't know.
Do you want to be hiding in caves the rest of your life? Huh?
David had every reason in the world to hate Saul. First, David already knew he was supposed to be the next king. And second, David had served Saul well. He had never done anything to hurt Saul. And yet Saul was determined to kill him. So what would you do if you had the chance to get even with someone who was mean to you? Here's what happened. Ever so slowly, David crawled toward Saul. He was careful not to make a sound. David inched his way forward until he was 20 feet away, 10 feet away. Saul had no idea his enemy was right behind him. David chose not to hurt Saul. Instead, he simply cut off a piece of Saul's robe as proof that he could have hurt Saul. But when Saul left the cave, David felt sorry for even that one small act against Saul. He followed Saul out of the cave and called out,
King Saul, my master, why do you listen when men say David is trying to harm you?
Saul turned around. He must have been completely shocked.
Look at this piece of your robe. I cut off the corner, but I didn't kill you. Who do you think you're chasing? I'm no one important. May the Lord be our judge. May he decide between us and stand up for me.
Saul realized everything David had said was true.
You are a better person than I am. You have treated me well even though I've treated you badly. I know for sure that you will be king, so please promise not to hurt my family.
David agreed. Saul returned home, while David and his men went to a safe hiding place. Even though Saul was still his enemy, David had peace, knowing he had chosen to stop and trust God, instead of taking payback into his own hands. The end.
Wow.
Yeah, that could have gone a lot differently.
It would have, if David hadn't stopped to think first when Saul showed up.
So, what's our part in the story?
Well, you're probably not going to run into your worst enemy in a cave anytime soon, but just like David, you can show self-control when you stop to think first and ask God to help you do what's best.
Self-control is about choosing to do what's best, even when you don't want to.
Like, if someone's being mean to you at school, instead of being mean back, stop, take a deep breath, and you can silently ask God to help you in that moment.
Maybe you tell them to stop, and then maybe you walk away.
And if it's something that has happened before, you can find a trusted grown-up and talk to them about it.
Good point. We run into these situations every day where it's important to stop and think first before acting.
Like when I think about something funny to say when my teacher's talking.
You? No.
Definitely stop and think about those consequences.
It could be your little brother spills milk all over your homework.
Or someone cuts in line.
Or you go to grab something at the back of the pantry and you end up dropping 20 things in the process and you just want to lose it and you want to start throwing things and yeah!
Domino effect.
Yes, exactly.
all good times to take a deep breath and think before you act. God can give you the power to show self-control when you ask, and you can look at Jesus too.
He had all of the power in the world, even though he could have just done it, just like that.
You've got it. See y'all next time. Bye.
So here's the thing. Think before you act.
I think I'm gonna check out some more awesome caves.
But first, some cave snacks.
Rock candy. I love this stuff.
Thanks for joining us in the Story Lab.
See you next time.
Time to gear up.
Let's go. Crystal Caves in Bermuda.
Oh, wait, I really like that. That's kind of cool. Do you think there will be bats?
The bottom line today is this: think before you act. David thought, and he showed a lot of self-control. Now, I'm sure David and David's soldiers were really confused. They were like, David, Saul was right there. How could you not have done it? But David thought in that moment, what does God want me to do? Does God want me to kill Saul in a cave? No, he wants me to be patient. And God already told me that I'll be king, so I can be patient and wait for it. David thought about what God wanted. He waited and he thought before he acted. And that is amazing. And we get to look back at this story now and see how fruitful God's promise was in David's life. David trusted God, and he trusted God and used self-control. And that is pretty spectacular. That's one of the reasons I absolutely love this story. It's pretty cool. It's pretty cool to see that David chose to have self-control and chose to trust God in that moment. We're going to continue learning about self-control next week as we continue to learn about real lives in the Bible and how they can show us how we can have self-control today. Until next time, friends, bye!